Alrighty, let's go. Welcome back to another episode of the Skooshi Sports Podcast, bringing you another week of your weekly sports rundown by Skooshi. And wow, what a week it was. So much insane stuff has happened. So much sport has started. The NFL is back. We've had Grand Slams, we've had golf, we've had rugby. Plenty going on in the sporting world, and I'm going to be here giving it all to you in my weekly rundown. If you're just watching this now, I just had my NRL round 27 NRLW round 10 round review come out yesterday on YouTube. All your podcast forms. Your week 2 of the Red Zone report will be out tomorrow morning, so plenty to get excited for, guys. Hit that like button, hit the follow, hit the subscribe if you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, give it a review. Just do whatever you want. Let's get this show absolutely pumping. I absolutely love doing this weekly, every week for you guys. It's an absolute ball. And let's just get right into it. We'll start with the rugby. I've got to start with the rugby union because, I mean, we had 2 insane games on the weekend in the rugby championship. I will start with my boys, though. The mighty All Blacks, 24-17 over South Africa at Eden Park on Saturday night. Ardie Savea's 100th game for the All Blacks. 100 tests. What an absolute player. Absolute shout out to him. He's a star-studded player. World Rugby Player of the Year last year. And man, didn't he absolutely show it? He absolutely showed up once again for the All Blacks along with the team. But he had to he had the game-winning penalty, essentially. You just knew in that moment he was going to get in and around. It was like 79th minute. South Africa 10 meters out from our own line, 24-17. Ardie Savea gets in, stays on his feet, gets his hands around the arms, around the ball, gets the penalty, not releasing. It wasn't quite over there yet. But it was such a huge moment. He knew. He put the fingers on him. This is my house. No one is coming to our fortress and winning here. Eden Park, still undefeated for over 30 years now. It is the All Blacks fortress through and through. What a win. What a game. One of the most impressive performances I've ever seen from the All Blacks. Definitely under Scott Robinson, the Razor. Definitely one of the most impressive performances since, like, maybe our World Cup. I was so happy. I really did think we deserved this win. I think we were definitely the better team on the park on Saturday night. All started within the first 2 minutes. What a blistering start. Finally, these cross-field kicks that Beauden Barrett has been doing for so long, feels like they just don't quite come off sometimes. Gets the ball out the back. He sees the space. Willie LaRue leaves all the space open on his left side. Amoni Nawawa, he is able to get it, slides. Willie LaRue jumps over him, misses the tackle. Amoni is able to get back up, start going again, throws the dummy inside to Jordan, absolutely fools Colby. Bang, All Blacks in, 7-0, 2 minutes gone, start the engines. It was just the perfect start. It was just the perfect start after such an awesome anthems, by the way, by the choir, and then a riveting haka. That haka, it just was a bit more intense than the other ones, a bit more intense than 2 weeks ago in Argentina. What I really noticed is if you look at Ardie Savea on the left, he's always near the front, but he wasn't the captain. So he wasn't right at the front, but he really put an emphasis on the slit in the throat right at the end of the haka. He meant business. The All Blacks well and truly turned up. They were not going to let their 100 test player down whatsoever. And I really thought 65, 70 minutes of this game, the All Blacks were fully in control. The South Africans did not really have a sniff. They didn't really deserve to have a sniff. The All Blacks were just getting that over the advantage line just that little bit more. They just looked a bit better on attack. Shout out to Finlay Christie. First start at number 9. I thought he held his own beautifully. Thought he really held his own. Controlled the game from number 9. Good service to Beauden. Just overall good service. The box kicks were good. Really, that Auckland weather came to play a little bit, so it stuffed up the South African fullbacks a little bit under the high ball.
Really, really good gameplay by Finley. I was really happy. It's going to be interesting what happens when like Cortez Ratama comes back. We've got obviously got Roygaard to come back as well. But I really liked what I see from Finley. So he was my first pick of the bunch. Apart from the obvious ones like Will Jordan scored, like Artie Savia, he was obviously awesome as well. I thought Bowden was quite good. Moni Nawara, he was quite good as well. Billy Proctor, he had a really solid game in the centers as well. But as I said, for most of this game, I really did think the All Blacks deserved it. And as a matter of fact, I probably thought 7 points was the lowest margin we could have won by. By all means, Saraka, they held in. They were down by 14 at once. It was 24-10. It was 17-3. Saraka score 17-10, and then bang, 20 minutes to go. Quinn Tupaia gets in under 6. What a bloody try it was as well. Gets back to 24-10. Then Saraka again scoring the final 10 minutes, 24-17, and he thought, okay, they haven't really been in it, but it's a 7-point game, 10 minutes to go. They're well and truly in this game, and kind of got a little bit nervous there at the end, but once Sevilla made that play, almost felt like it was game over, and it should have been. The siren went off, and all we had to do was just get the ball out and kick it out, but Saraka managed to turn it over, managed to apply a bit more pressure to us, but in the end, Saraka just got All Blacks just got the job done. Were able to get a turnover, kick the ball out, and it really puts a good, not a margin, because Australia is sitting on 9 points as well, but All Blacks are sitting on 10 points now. As I said, everyone in the Rugby Championship has lost at least one game. Aussie and New Zealand now lost one, and Saraka and Argentina have both lost 2. So on the table-wise, New Zealand's at 10. You got Aussie coming in at second at 9 after their win against Argentina. I will touch on that in a little bit. And then Saraka and Argentina, they're both locked in on third. They both got 5 points, 1 win, 2 losses, and obviously a bonus point in there. Both sitting on minus 15 points difference. So both these teams have got massive, massive games this weekend. I believe Aussie play Argentina this weekend. I think it's on the Gold Coast or something. And Saraka are going to Wellington in the capital, New Zealand capital, to play the All Blacks. Not as much of a fortress for the All Blacks whatsoever. I'm not feeling as confident with that game at all. I'm expecting Saraka to bounce back. They've lost like the last 5 of their last 6 or something, Saraka. Been a bit disappointing, if I'm being all honesty. We're talking about the back-to-back World Championships here, back-to-back World Champions here, and had a shock loss to Australia at home at one of their strong home grounds, and then they were a bit lackluster against the All Blacks last week. So you can never write off a champion side like Saraka, especially when you got Sia Khaleesi as well as captain. He is an absolute warrior, an absolute workhorse. So I am peaking with excitement for these 2 games this weekend. It's going to be absolute cracker. It's almost going to be close to not quite deciding the Rugby Championship because All Blacks and Australia have to still play each other twice. But it is one of the most open Rugby Championships we have seen in a while. So if, like, let's say Argentina and Saraka managed to win this weekend, everyone is on 2 wins. Everyone. So super intriguing couple weeks coming up in the Rugby Championship there. Aussie, they played in Townsville against Argentina. They were able to win 28-24. They were not leading any of this game from 0 minutes to 80 minutes. They took the lead in the 85th minute. 85th minute. That is absolutely insane. 85 minutes. Like, they went injury time, red clock, over 5 minutes to be able to hold onto the ball. Shout out, massive respect to Harry Wilson, the captain of the Wallabies. He put his balls on the line, down 24-21. 80 minutes had ticked up. They got a penalty in front of the sticks. They had the easiest chance to just go, you know what? Take the draw. We'll take the 2 points, take the 3 points, or take the 2 points, actually. Get the draw, 24-all. Let's move on to the next game. Nah. This is a new approach by the Wallabies. They believed in themselves. They said, fuck it, let's go for it. And it paid off. Angus Bell getting the the game-winning try in the 85th minute. As I said, it was a little pop out, one pass, barged over. and the Aussies went absolutely hysterical, as they should. They got the win 28-24, and it keeps the Rugby Championship hopes alive. And that's what you love to see from especially your captain, but essentially definitely a leader in the team who says, nah, a draw is not good enough for us. We should be beating this team. We should be winning. We're better than this. We're competitive. We need to go out and win. And, if we lose, we tried. We gave it our all. We gave it a shot at the end. We didn't bitch it. We didn't pussy out at the end. We absolutely went for it. And if you trust yourself and back yourself, it's going to come off. And that's exactly what happened. They perceived, and it came off. So very good win by the Aussies. They were down 21-7 at halftime. They were able to go bang, bang just after halftime with Joseph Suaalii. He scored a double for the Wallabies, which is awesome to see. The NRL convert, the absolute young gun talent of our generation, essentially. He scored a double, which is good to see. They got it back to 21-all, 10 minutes to go. And then the Pumas, they managed to kick a penalty with 2 minutes to go. And you thought, there it is. That's your typical Wallabies. They fought their way back. And then just when you think they've turned a corner, they're back to normal. But nah, just in the last month, you know what? I will even, not just the last month, but I probably will say they were really gutsy against the Lions as well. Like, by all means, on paper, they should have nowhere near the Lions. Like, we're talking about a 6th ranked team in the world against the best Irish, English, Welsh, and Scottish players in the world, who I believe 2 of those teams are above Australia in the world rankings. So, like, Lions should have dusted them up. And Aussies, we're not far away. They're probably a dodgy call away from winning that series. They had to win game 3, and now they're 1 point off the Rugby Championship, which is just a bonus point. So massive kudos to the Wallabies at the moment. Really intrigued to see how this Bledisloe Cup goes this year. Obviously, they're going to have to try and win in Auckland to try and get the Bledisloe Cup for the first time in about 20 years. We'll see how it goes. I just mentioned before how much of a fortress the Eden Park is for All Blacks, whether it's France, England, Australia, Argentina, South Africa, absolutely anyone, Lions, who comes and visit us, just seems to be no chance. So the history is still there. Eden Park is our fortress and does seem to continue being our fortress. They have not lost at Eden Park still in my lifetime. Absolutely insane. So crazy to think about. As I said, 2 epic games of rugby coming up this weekend in the Rugby Championship. We'll flick over to the tennis. So last week when I spoke about the tennis, we're just reaching the quarterfinals of the US Open. Alex de Minaur, he had just gone to the corners for the first time. But I'm not going to start with the men here, actually. I'm going to start on the women's side, particularly with Aryna Sabalenka, because she is my Women's Player of the Week for Skooshi Sports Podcast. She is the Women's Player of the Week. This is our 4th edition of it. So our first one, we've had a couple from the NRLW. We've had one from the WNBA as well. Now we're flicking over to the tennis, and Aryna Sabalenka, the world #1. She is just won the US Open just on the weekend. It was Sunday morning for us, I believe, here. She defeated Amanda Anisimova. What did she win? She won 6-3, 7-6, and then she won 7-3 in the tiebreak to win that one. Just over an hour. She at her back-to-back US Open titles as well. First woman since Serena Williams, arguably the GOAT of women's tennis and tennis, since 2014. So massive shout out to Aryna Sabalenka. She dropped 1 set on her way to winning the US Open. And this is not to discourage her. She did get a walkover in the quarter. She lost her first set in the tournament in the semi-final against Peggy La. So absolutely insane stuff. She takes home $5 million US in prize money, which is absolutely ridiculous. And one of the most unreal stats that I've ever heard in sport history, tennis history, and it's still going. And she's probably guaranteed to lose the next one now. But Sabalenka, this is in tiebreakers. So you look at tiebreakers, and it's first to 7 points, right? So there's only like like generally maximum like 12 points in the actual whole thing. So out of 12 points, you're expected to, you got to win 7. So 7-5 to win the set in the tiebreaker. Goes to the tiebreaker. She's won now 19. I want to hear 19 tiebreakers in a row. She has not lost a tiebreaker since February. That was 7 months ago. February. It was the last time she lost a tiebreak. Like the mental resilience and fight and courage to have to win 19 tiebreaks in a row is absolutely out of this world. There's so much that can go wrong just in one tiebreak. Unforced errors, double faults, the other player just plays better. But 19 tiebreaks in a row is just outlandish. I've never heard anything like that whatsoever. She is the clear world number 1 at the moment by literally like 3,000 points at the moment. Absolutely distancing herself between the world number 1 and the world number 2 at the moment. She is now a 4-time Grand Slam champion. That is all 4 have been on the hard court as well. She's the first woman to do that since Naomi Osaka to win her first 4 Grand Slams on the hard court. And awesome, she's had an awesome year as well. She lost the final in the Aussie Open. She lost the final at the French Open. She lost in the semi at Wimbledon. And now she's finished off the year. She got the monkey off her back this year. She won the US Open. And that makes her my Women's Player of the Week, taking home $5 million paycheck, which is an increase over from about $3.6 million last year, I believe. Absolutely insane money. So Aryna Sabalenka from Belarus is my Women's Player of the Week for the Skooshi Sports Podcast this week, winning the Women's US Open title 6-3, 6-3, 7-6. And I'll now go deep dive a little bit more into the women's side of that draw. So as I said, she defeated Amanda Anisimova in the final. So Amanda Anisimova, she is also an American. So she was in a home final. So Sabalenka was managed to beat a player who was playing in a home Grand Slam final. But a huge thing for Anisimova is she's made 2 Grand Slam finals now, right? She's rather young. She was coming in 8th seed into this tournament. That was her second Grand Slam final. She's now 0-2, which is like, look, it's a Grand Slam final. They are hard to win. Her big thing was she lost in the final of Wimbledon this year. So the last Grand Slam. She did not just lose in the Wimbledon final. She lost 6-love, 6-love. Wasn't just bageled, what we know as a double bagel. Double donuts, 6-love, 6-love. It just does not happen, that scoreline. It was an absolute choke job in a final. She got dominated by Iga Swiatek in that final. And what is awesome for her this year is in the quarterfinal, she comes up. Who does she come up against? Iga Swiatek. And what does she bloody do? She goes to Iga Swiatek and beats her 6-4, 6-3. Just completely turns around that Wimbledon final to get her vengeance back over Iga in a Grand Slam to get herself into the semi-final, which was awesome for her. Swiatek was the number 2 seed coming into this. And Anisimova took it another level. She was able to beat the 4-time Grand Slam champion, Naomi Osaka, in the semi-final. She won that 7-6, 6-7, 6-3 in a 3-hour women's marathon as well. Absolutely insane. And she's going to be a really good player. The monkey will come off her back, like, I reckon next year. That famous saying, like, you got to lose 1 to win 1. Sometimes you got to lose 2 to win 1. She will get there. She's obviously a talented player. Lovely American girl. She even came out after and said she's played her 2 Grand Slam finals and she can still feel how nervous she is for the finals, which of course you're going to feel. But just that bit too much nervous where she kind of struggles to, I guess, control her play, control her serve. And if you did watch the highlights or be able to watch this match, it was a little bit clear to see. She just, at the wrong time, her first serve was not great. I believe it was in like the 50 percentile, like 56% for the whole match, which is not great. Really puts you on the back foot. And then she just had too many unforced errors as well. So the tiebreak that she lost in the final, she had 5 unforced errors in the tiebreak. Like, she started off with an ace, which is perfect. And then just some silly unforced errors. I think she had a double fault in there as well, which it really just kills any momentum, and it really just plays a bit of mind tricks on you. So, Sabalenka gets Anisimova in the final, but plenty to look forward to for Anisimova, as she upset Swiatek as like a $4 dog, which is insane. She would have been a dog against Osaka as well. So she's beat some very, very credited tennis players to get into that final. And she just came up against a better player at the end of the day. It's hard to go against the world number one, especially when they've won 3 Grand Slams already and in hot form. She's a world number one for a reason. But big shout out to Amanda Anisimova out of the USA as well. We'll touch on the men's side, and this was absolute crackerjack. Almost not sort of predicted, but not sort of a given. But we did talk about how Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner were pretty good chances to meet each other in the final of this US Open. The 3rd consecutive Grand Slam final they are meeting each other in. Sinner defeated Alcaraz in Wimbledon. And I believe Alcaraz got Sinner at the French Open because he's a bit of a master on clay. Could he get his vengeance back for Wimbledon? Carlos Alcaraz. Get the world number one ranking back. 1 versus 2. 100% he could. Alcaraz pretty much dominated Sinner in this game. 6-2, 3-6, 6-1, 6-4. Just a tickle under 3 hours as well. So you think 4 sets for that was quicker time than what Anisimova beat Osaka in the semifinal. So watching the highlights, watching the match of this game, it was a bit topsy-turvy, but I mean, it was a bit of a weird one. Like, it's clear to see these two guys are the absolute top 2 best tennis players in the world at the moment and will be for the next 10 years. It is the millennials version of Roger and Rafa back when they started in like 2004, 2005 and having their battles. Instead of the Swiss against the Spanish, it's the Italian against the Spanish. These two will go at it for years and years to come. They are ranked number 1 and number 2 by far ahead of number 3 at the moment. These guys will be number 1 and number 2 unless something catastrophic happens. These two will be at the top echelon for a very, very long time unless we get like another Joker that was to come along. I just don't see it though. Like, Carlos, to get into the final, he defeated Joker in straight sets. Like, you just don't defeat Novak Djokovic in a Grand Slam final in straight sets unless you're an absolute weapon, an absolute beast. And Sinner beat him 6-1 in the second set, right? And you think, that's very unlike Carlos. And it was. That was the only set he dropped in the whole bloody tournament. He dropped 1 set out of 7 matches. He won 21 out of 22 possible sets that he played in the tournament. Absolutely insane. And from the get-go, he broke the serve of Sinner in the first game. He had 10-2 aces. As I say, he broke him in the first game. 0 double faults. 4 double faults for Jannik Sinner. You don't often see that from Jannik Sinner. Don't often see that from a world number 1. Carlos, he faced 1 break point all game out of 4 sets. He just hardly gave Sinner a sniff, As I said, he lost that 1 set like 6-3. Sinner had 1 break point and he took advantage of it and he was able to actually go and win the set from there. 41-21 winners. So he had double the amount of winners Jannik Sinner did. And these forehand winners, these smashes were just like in another world. He had this overhead smash from his baseline after Sinner did shot to try and save the rally, I guess. Got it back in the court. Big bounce up high, kind of lands a few feet from the baseline. It's very tricky because it dictates ball bouncing high and then you still kind of try and do like the serve motion, but you're not throwing the ball up in the air. He put like 20 feet more of curve on it. It started at the down the line, and it finished left of the speedometer scoreboard, which is easily over 20 feet. It was absolutely incredible. Sinner had 0 chance of getting any sort of racket on it. It was absolutely incredible. Unforced errors wise, 28-24 to Sinner. So Sinner had a little bit more unforced errors. But the big thing was, as I said, Sinner really struggled with his serve. He was broken 5 times in the game, in the whole match, compared to just the once. He faced about 11 break points, was only able to save 6 of them. As I say, he got broken 5 times. That now brings Alcaraz back to the world number 1, But as I said, he's just gone above Sinner, but Sinner is way ahead of number 3, Zverev at the moment. Joker is 4. Absolutely crazy. These two guys are going to be around for ages. And what even makes that crazier is Sinner, he won the Aussie Open this year, right? He won the US Open the year before, and he won the Aussie Open as well last year. He'd won 3 hardcourt titles in a row in majors. When you line that all up, 27 Grand Slam hardcourt wins in a row for Jannik Sinner coming into that match. 27. Just making sure, you need 7 wins to win a Grand Slam. He's had 27. So his last loss before that one would have been in a final as well. Crazy. So he must have lost the Aussie Open final back in 2024? US Open back in 2023, excuse me. He's won the Aussie Open 2024, won the US Open in 2024, won the Aussie Open in 2025. That's 21 matches there. He's won his 6 in the US Open to get to this final, and he can't win the 28th. He is an absolute freak. It's just absolutely fucking crazy to think about. One thing that we were excited about was Alex de Minaur getting into a quarterfinal. He had a good win to get into the quarterfinals, and he was actually having a good shot. He was a favorite to get into a semi against Felix Auger-Aliassime. He wins the first set. He has a set point to win the second set, and he crumbles. He's crumbled. He absolutely choked. I feel so sorry for the bloke. He lost the second set and the third and the fourth. So after winning the first set, having a chance to go up 2 sets to love, he has lost 3-1 in sets. So Auger-Aliassime, he ended up going down 3-1 in sets to Sinner in the semi-final. So there was always going to be a tough, tricky spot for the Demon in the semi, no matter what. But you would have loved to see him there. You would have loved to see him get that opportunity. So bit sad that we didn't see Demon in the semis, but he's got a bright future still. So a lot to look forward to for Alex de Minaur. Quickly touching on the golf. Now, we have had, in the last week, we've had the Ryder Cup captain's picks announced. The Ryder Cup coming up in just over 2 weeks now at Bethpage Black. We've still got a couple tournaments to come up. Before that, we've got a big one in Europe this weekend. We've got the BMW PGA Championship at Wentworth, which is going to be cool. A lot of the European guys are playing that. And you've got the PGA Tour starting up again for 2025-2026 season at the Procore Championship. A lot of the US guys are playing that one. Scheffler is literally like a $3 favorite. It is absolutely insane. I haven't seen odds like that for someone to win a golf tournament in the PGA Tour literally since Tiger. $3 to win a golf tournament pre-tournament before a ball's even hit. $3 against 144 men. You got to be absolutely kidding me. But let's run through the captain's picks. We'll run through the Ryder Cup teams once again. So before we knew this, USA had locked in Scheffler, JJ Spawn, Xander, Schauffele, Xander Schauffele, Russell Hanley, Harris English, and Bryson DeChambeau. With their captain's picks, which were sort of surprising, some weren't surprising, had a few key guys in that you knew would get picked. Patrick Cantlay, we got Morikawa, and we got Justin Thomas, and Sam Burns as well. They were the 4 captain's picks. And then 2 rookies coming into the team, Ben Griffin and Cam Young as well. So Cam Young had his first win on the PGA Tour finally a few weeks ago, which is good to see. Now being rewarded with a spot on the US Ryder Cup team on home soil. Very intrigued. Very, very intrigued to see how this goes. I was actually quite surprised Keegan Bradley didn't pick himself. But I guess he's going to be an important factor in picking the matchups for the afternoon and just overall controlling just that mentality and just the spirit for the team as well. He's got 4 or 5 vice captain though, so he's got no issue with the support around him. It's just if he can execute it. With the Europeans, the 6 picks they originally had was Rory, Bobby McIntyre, Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose, Rasmus Højgaard, and Tyrrell Hatton. The captain's choices, pretty sort of simple and explanatory. Shane Lowry, John Rahm, Sepp Straka, Victor Hovland, Ludwig Oberg, and Matt Fitzpatrick. You might be thinking that team looks so similar to what we saw 2 years ago. By last name, correct. 100% correct. By first name, Rasmus Højgaard is replacing his brother, Nikolai Højgaard, in the team. So 11 out of the 12 are returning. The only change is literally Rasmus replacing Nikolai in that team. Odds-wise, the US, they are home. They're on Bethpage Black on home soil. So our favourites are $1.72. Europe is $2.37. But I look at the odds and I look at the teams on paper and I look at the odds again. And I look at the teams on paper and I think, how many of these guys have played in America before on the European team? You've got Rory. You've got Bobby McIntyre. He's won. Fleetwood. He's just won the Tour Championship. Justin Rose. He's won the Travelers not too long ago. Tyrrell Hatton. He's been up there in the PGA Tour. Shane Lowry. He can compete. John Rahm. He's won majors in the US before. Straka. He's played well at like the Masters or something. Hovland. He's won the PGA Tour before. Oberg. He's an immense talent. He's won on the PGA Tour before. Fitzpatrick. He is a US Open champion. You've got champions all down this European list, and not just in Europe, in the US as well. I'm actually quite shocked the Europeans are $2.37 to win this. I would not be having them as underdogs at the moment. Currently, at this stage, 2 weeks out, I think the Europeans will win in the US for the first time since the Miracle in Medina in 2011. I absolutely love this team by Luke Donald and the Europeans. I think they will go to New York, Bethpage Black, and win against the US. Golf just happened over the weekend. Continuing on, Rory played his home open, the Irish Open. He loves to go back there. He's always going to get a big crowd out there. And he delivered. He won. He won his home open the same year he wins the Grand Slam, the same year he wins the Masters. His homecoming, he almost talked about the Open Championship like almost like a mini celebration. Kind of coming back home, first time as Grand Slam champion in a home crowd. And he said it felt like a mini celebration of what he's done and what he's done over his career. And he probably could have had that approach going to the Irish Open, but no. What's he do? 2 shots back, going to the last hole in regulation. Par 5, needs an eagle to make the playoff. What does he do? Sinks a 30-footer to get into the playoff. Like the champion he does. What a player. Wins the playoff. Wins the Irish Open at 17 under, I think it was. What an absolute champion. What a year he's had. I'm not a fan of what Rory does off the course and the things he said during the whole LIV thing and the PGA Tour thing. But the fact we're witnessing a Grand Slam champion in the year 2025, the first one since Tiger Woods to do it, crazy. You've got to give him props. He does win. He wins big. And him to win this Irish Open, the crowd was amped up. So good on you, Rory, winning his home open. He'll take a lot of that momentum into the BMW Championship this weekend and then into the Ryder Cup 2 weeks later to lead the Europeans in America. All righty. Fourth. I don't know what the bloody hell's going on here. Good news story. I love this. I mentioned this last week. The AFL, the Gold Coast Suns, they were playing. They had got their finals debut. First time in their club's history in 15 years. 326 games or something like that. It was always going to be a tough slog over going to Perth to play an elimination final off a shorter turnaround than what Freo had. And what have they done? They bloody won by a point. 80-79. They won by a point. Do you believe it? Do you believe in miracles? You love to see it for the Gold Coast Suns. What a win. It was close all game. They were behind with about 2 or 3 minutes to go. They were able to kick a goal. And then David Swallow, out of all people as well. David Swallow is the only player left that got, initially, he played the first ever game for the Suns. And remember, I said the Suns have played about 326 games. That shows how many games David Swallow has played for the Suns. He's been there since the beginning. He gets a free kick in the final minute on the 50. And he thinks he booted it. He thinks he kicked it. It looked a goal for all money. It was just touched by the guy marking the set shot. But what that actually meant is they got it behind to go up by 1 with about 10-15 seconds to go. It was initially a goal, so they went back to the center square, which would have benefited Freo more because with the time they had left, they actually needed that time to get the ball out of the clearance, kick it into their 50, and then go and kick a goal. But what happened is the decision got overturned, 2 behind, Suns up by 1, and meant 10 seconds to go, Freo had to kick it the length of the field to try and go the length of the field to get it inside their 50, try and mark it, and then try to kick it behind or a goal. It actually made it tougher for Freo, and they didn't get it. And the Suns, all credit to them, hit them, and hard work went absolutely bonkers. And it's too right, like, so they should have. And great win by the Suns. They now have a Q clash against the Lions this weekend at the Gabba. You could not write a better story. That's exactly what you want for Queensland sport, especially Gold Coast sport as well. You're going to have fans who are going to be able to go there now, just up the road. It is such a good opportunity for them. And the Brisbane Lions are without Lockie Neal and Eric Hipwood. They're only 10.5 point dogs. They're paying about $2.45. It's not like it's a home run for the Brisbane Lions at all. This is not a guaranteed win for Brisbane at all. The defending premiers at home in a final against the Gold Coast, and it's not guaranteed at all whatsoever, missing their star player. There is a good chance the Gold Coast Suns could be playing a prelim next week against Collingwood or Geelong. Absolutely insane to think about. It's crazy to think about. Such a feel-good story of the week. Gold Coast Suns getting into the final 6 teams of the season. You love to see it. As I said, what hard work is done with that team is absolutely incredible. So full respect to them and massive shout out to the Gold Coast Sun. I really do hope they can cause an upset this weekend. That would be awesome to see. And last bit, we'll touch on the baseball just quickly, a little bit of an update. And before I get into the standings and the results, I don't know if you've seen this trending. The Phillies played the Marlins in a series just in the week gone. And Harrison Bader from the Phillies, he hit a home run into the stands. And when you go into the stands, like, the fans can keep the balls, right? And the home run goes into the stand, and it's always a little bit of a fight to try and get the ball, because generally someone probably doesn't catch it, and it's on the ground, rolling around anywhere, and it's just first come, first served. Did you get it? You keep it, sort of thing. There's no, like, big fights over it for it, like, I touched it first, I should get the ball, or it was coming to me, it was coming to my hands, and I dropped it, it still should be mine. That doesn't happen. If you drop it and you miss it, so be it. Suck shit. You should have caught it. That's exactly what happened in this game. Harrison Bader hits a home run into the stands, and this Phillies dad with his son comes over a few seats in the row and sees the ball on the ground from the home run, picks it up, takes it back to his son, gives it straight back to his son. Little father-son trip. Hey, son, have a ball from a Phillies player as well. Super cool to see. The son was absolutely chuffed. Next minute, what she is known as the Phillies Karen, or the Karen Philly. This lady wearing, like, a little bit, not older, but like sort of mid-40s, middle-aged woman wearing a Phillies top, comes over to this guy and absolutely starts staunching and roasting the hell out of him for getting that ball. And she said, "That's my ball! That's my ball! That was mine!" And this dad was in complete shock, and this lady was just relentlessly going at him and the kid. And she did not stop until he got that ball, and until she got that ball, took it back with her. But the aftermath that she has caught from this is otherworldly. It was on the big screen at the baseball game, I'm pretty sure. It was on film. There's people around them filming. It has gone absolutely viral. This lady is in absolute tears about it. She has destroyed her career from this. And it just makes you think. You just always got to think that there's always cameras on you, and just be nice. It's a kid. Like, what's a baseball? Just let the kid have it. It's a stupid baseball. Just let the kid have it. And now she's faced serious consequences from it. Not just not police-wise or anything, but just overall social media just absolutely roasting her. This is the baseball version of the Coldplay guy getting caught at that concert, that CEO. Absolutely blindsiding. It's like, holy shit, when he got busted. And this Karen now is going to be like, oh my God, what have I done? In the moment, probably felt fine, but she's getting absolutely roasted. So that's crazy. One of the stories of the week in baseball and sport in general. But baseball, the regular season, it's getting there. We've played about 141, 142 games each team now. 20 games to go sort of in the regular season. Still got the Blue Jays maintaining their lead at the top of the AL East and also the American League. They just had a series win against the Yankees. That division, by the way, with the Blue Jays, Boston, and the Yankees is unbelievably tight. I believe the Blue Jays now have a 2-game lead on the Yankees, and the Yankees have a 1-game lead on the Red Sox. That division is super tight at the moment. Toronto just picking up their series win against the Yankees to try and help that a bit. They lead the whole league by just a half a game against Detroit. They are still, I think they have the 3rd best record in baseball at the moment. The National League is absolutely killing it at the moment, especially the Milwaukee Brewers. Like, where the hell has this come from? The Brewers are top of the league. 89 wins, 53 losses or something. Absolutely destroying it. They went 14-7 in August was a record or something stupid like that. 4.5 games ahead of the Phillies in the National League. So they're way ahead in the National League, way ahead in the division. They are one of the most informed teams at the moment. And then the other two that I'm going to mention are in form at the moment aren't really a division leader, or they're actually fighting for a wildcard spot, and they're still a little bit back. And this is the team I thought was gone weeks ago. San Francisco Giants. They've absolutely turned it around. They've gone about 16-7 in like their last 16-7 like win streak at the moment in the last 23 games. That's got them to three games off the potential wildcard spot. It felt like a few weeks ago when I checked, they were like 8, 9, 10 games off that wildcard spot. Same with the Diamondbacks as well. They've gone on a hot streak. They've had the 3rd best record since the MLB trade deadline. Now they're 4.5 games off the wildcard spot. And it seemed weeks ago they were 10, 11 games off the wildcard spot. So still plenty of action to happen. 20 games left in the regular season. You know Toronto is going to be there. Looks like the Yankees are going to be there now. You know the Brewers are going to be there. The Phillies are going to be there. The Tigers are going to be there. Whether you see Seattle there, the Padres, Houston's there as well. It's all very, very interesting at the moment. So coming up, as I said, I go on about October all the time, but October is just the best month ever for sports. Like now we've just had the NFL start. It'll be MLB postseason coming up in the next month. NFL will be in full swing. NBA will be starting in the middle of the month. NHL will be starting in the middle of the month as well. All 4 American sports going at once. The grand final first weekend, NRL grand final first weekend of October usually as well. Just the best month ever for sports ever. It is unbelievable. I absolutely love it. That is what's going on in the baseball world at the moment. Obviously, we just had our NFL Week 1. That has just finished up. Well, when I'm recording, it's finished today. The Bears just had a brutal loss against Minnesota. I have no idea how they lost that. And they still lost it better than what the Ravens did against Buffalo, which is absolute crazy game. Game of the year already, and we've just finished week 1. We've already had game of the year. So, just absolutely crazy times in the NFL already to start the season. Looks like my Panthers will be dog shit once again, which is just so sad to see. Just laid an egg again in week 1, but where this is going week 2, I'm not really sure. Big overreaction week coming up. I'll explain it all tomorrow on my Red Zone report for week 2, and also my picks that are coming up. Games that I really do like, games that I don't like, talking points for the week. It's all going to be action-packed. That'll be out for you tomorrow morning, so remember to set your notifications. It'll be out generally also at 6:15, 6:30 in the morning there. Listen to it on the drive to work. Listen to it on the drive home from work. Just do whatever. Give it a watch. Give it a listen. Let me know your thoughts. But that will do it for another episode of the Skooshi Sports Podcast. Another review for the Skooshi Weekly Sports Review as well. Thank you so much for watching. As I said, give it a like, give it a subscribe, give me a rating, give me a follow, give me whatever. Just give me some thoughts, give me some comments. Absolutely love it. I love doing this. As I said, thank you so much for listening, and cheers.